Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Just a second. Okay, guys, how's it going? Okay, long time no see. Okay, so a couple things have happened today on top of the divorce hearing that wasn't, I mean, I guess it was a divorce hearing, but nothing happened like we thought it was going to. So if you hadn't seen that, go check it out. Um, like I said when I was live earlier, I hope next time they come back to court, it's not going to be, we'd prefer not to have the media there kind of thing. I was nervous the whole time that I was getting ready to get the boot. But that didn't happen. So I guess I need to get over my fear of FOMO because the whole time that we were on hold, I had FOMO. And once we checked in, I was just waiting for someone to say for Ms. either Edwards or Sean to ask, which I don't think Sean was in a place to ask that because he really was there more observing, even though he did chime in as one of Nesto's lawyers. So it's just going to be interesting to see how this thing turns out eventually. But yeah, if I felt like Shirley looked very uncomfortable, and also because I'm sure she saw, I don't know. I don't know how she felt. Was it more so I'm not getting a divorce today or okay, there's bloggers here. I don't know. But anyway, it was interesting. If you missed it, everything is posted. Um and you should be fully up to date on that. Anyway, a couple of you guys have asked me had I seen what was going on. Yes, I've seen what's going on. We talked about it a little bit in the live, but we didn't get fully into it. So let's get into it. Where should I start? Okay, I guess we'll just start with let's start with Fulton County first. So Fulton County provider is no longer providing. So you'll see this on your screen. Uh, but can I see it on the screen? Let's see. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up for myself. You guys can see it. So make it bigger on your screen. That's the best that I can do because that's actually a screenshot. But of course, I will read it to you. And let's see. Okay. So, Strategic Security Corp, which we're all familiar with, thanks to the sis who actually sent this to me. I'd seen Sheriff LABAT's press conference earlier. So, Strategic Security Corp, who is responsible for some of the security guards that we'd seen previously, these guys, these ladies here, they all worked for Strategic Security Corp. Okay, amongst others, right? So this is what's going on. Okay. Statement from CEO of Strategic Security Corp regarding termination of security services. As if, like, I know that this is definitely a big deal, but considering that your guards have been involved in a whole lot of mess, I guess this is really the perfect timing to go ahead and back out of the contract because this is not good. Okay. So the statement from the CEO of Strategic Security Corp regarding termination of security contract, security services at Fulton County Jail. So Atlanta, Georgia, August 29th, 24, Strategic Security Corp, a leading nationwide security guard company, deeply regrets the necessity of having to terminate our security services at Fulton County Jail due to breach of contract for non-payment of services. Despite multiple efforts to resolve the situation, including numerous emails, phone calls, meetings, and notices to various offices, including the sheriff's office, mayor's office, county commission office, even the governor's office, no viable solution has been proposed by the responsible parties. Regrettably, no timeline for payment or good faith attempts to address the outstanding balance has been made. As of 5 p.m. on August 29th, 24, all relevant parties have been notified that Strategic Security Corp will be forced to withdraw all security services from Fulton County Jail. This action is taken with a heavy heart as it creates a potential officer safety issue crisis at the facility. Strategic Security Corp, I mean, they are obligated to pay their employees. So if they're not getting paid, then that puts them in a situation. Strategic Security Corp has always been committed to providing top notch security services. That's debatable by recent events, but that's not the question at issue. They do have a contract which they are required to pay. Strategic Security Corp has been committed to providing top notch security services and upholding their contractual obligations. However, the continued non payment has left us with no choice but to make this difficult step to protect the interests of our company and our employees. We sincerely hope that a resolution can be reached swiftly to avoid any further disruptions or risks to security at Fulton County Jail. Strategic Security Corp remains open to dialogue and cooperation in order to find a mutually acceptable solution to this challenge. For further inquiries or statements, and it's signed Joseph Sorty. So bad news for Fulton County. That's not a good thing. Because what are they gonna how like you've got security personnel and you've got a bunch of inmates, you've got a whole housing full of inmates and you don't have adequate security personnel. So I'm sure that the folks in the jail are aware of what's going on, and I mean, it could be dangerous. So let's Sheriff Labat had a press conference, and let me see, some of you guys asked me to talk about another story too, that we'll get to that also. We might get to that today, we might not, but we'll okay, is this it right here? I think this is it. Just a moment. I wonder how they fell so far behind in the rears that they are not making adequate payment. That's crazy that they're that far behind that a service provider has pulled out. Okay, let me move. That's yeah. Okay, here we go. All I can think about when I hear Chief Labat's name or Sheriff Labat is former judge Christina Peterson. Where's Labat? Call Labat.
Was a third party contractor, given that we have long since.
Come on now.
Said the Fulton County Sheriff has been understaffed and underfunded. An opportunity for us to.
Let me make sure my speed is. He's talking really fast, which makes me think.
Since then, given the funding deficit, our inability to, as a county, pay.
All right, give me just a second, guys. I think I might have to speed on. Yeah, it's my bad. I was like, why is he talking so fast? That's weird. Okay.
Given that we have long since said the Fulton County Sheriff has been understaffed and underfunded, an opportunity for us to partner with the Board of Commissioners early last year.
How are y'all understaffed and underfunded but hiring a staffing company? Which I get it, but wouldn't you have the funding already set aside to pay for the labor? I mean, you can't just contract out labor and think that a company is going to pay people and you guys are going to get free labor. If you guys can't afford labor, you probably can't afford contract labor either. Like that doesn't make any sense. All right, let me just let this play. Oh.
And bring on a third party contractor. Since then, given the funding deficit, our inability to, as a county, pay the actual past due expenses, the company made a decision, a written decision in writing that they would pull out Friday Unfortunately and regrettably, at around 2:15 today, company employees were told to vacate their jobs, abandon their position, and not to come in to work tonight. So we worked with our county manager, we worked with our chief human resource officer manager for the county, and we are available and are using our vacancies to actually hire those individuals. The last thing I wanted to do is have anybody be unemployed, be in a position where ultimately they are without a job. And so we've invited those individuals back in. And as one young lady, we met with them, one young lady just said, I'm grateful for the opportunity, couldn't afford to be unemployed. And we are focusing on hiring at a security officer specialist position, which is equivalent to what they actually left as after being told to leave. And essentially, because they're coming to work for the county, they will get a 10% pay increase as well as benefits. So I'll take any questions that you may have.
Sheriff, how much did the sheriff's office owe to this company?
So it's nearly $1 million that ultimately over 3 months that we actually, from the perspective of the unfunded or being able to not fund that properly, we owed that. And obviously, like any good business, they wanted their money. What I found disingenuous, though, was during our conversations today, during negotiations today, they actually told their people to abandon their post.
Well, what if they aren't in a position to pay? You guys are 90 days past due. And if you're 3 months past due to $1 million, so you expect another company. So think of it this way. The city is paying people every 2 weeks or twice a month, however the city pays, every 2 weeks, every week, once a month, however Fulton County pays their employees, right? They have to have cash to back up those direct deposits and those paychecks, right? However a paycheck is funded to you as an employee, there has to be cash, right? But you're actually extending a line of credit every time they pay an employee for you. You're actually extending a line of credit. So you owe $1 million, which I find that hard to believe that it's just $1 million, but okay, it's $1 million over 3 months. There's no way that Fulton County could have owed full-time employees $1 million, but you want a company that is dealing with a municipal contract with a governmental type agency to extend $1 million of credit to pay people up front, but you're literally 3 months behind. Does that make sense? That's the type of stuff that makes companies go out of business. Everybody can't afford, like, this is one account. You think they have more than one account? So one account has them $1 million behind, and then you want them to continue to pay people with a line of credit, and they say that you guys are not making payment? It doesn't work like that. That's ridiculous. It makes sense from a standpoint of you're trying to get a line of credit to pay people you can't afford to hire. If you guys cannot afford to have staff, then you can't afford to have staff. Then maybe the jail needs to be emptied out. Unfortunately, but you got a lot of dangerous people in the Fulton County jail, along with any other jail, right? They probably don't want people walking the streets, but if there is not enough security to handle what they have in that jail, they might need to start letting some people go. Some of the more petty type criminals who don't necessarily need to be behind bars, and that you're just keeping behind bars because it doesn't seem like y'all can afford to have the staff you have. But they wouldn't get away with not paying you for 3 months, but you can't get away with not paying a company for 3 months. That's a very bad way to do business.
And so at that point, I found that disingenuous, and we found a way to move forward.
They made him spokesman to say it's disingenuous for them to be pulling out when maybe they don't have the money to pay employees, and they're like, look, enough is enough. But it's not disingenuous for you guys to get 3 months worth of labor and not pay for it. There's nothing worse than working people for free. And if the company didn't see fit that they could pay them any longer without getting payment and being level set by their client, then they did the right thing by letting the people go, because if they can't pay us, we can't pay you. I think that's pretty shitty for him to say it like that, but I mean, it's a good thing for the employees because now they can apply to work full time. They'll get a 10% increase. But when is it that we're going to hear Fulton County is out of money?
Sheriff, does that mean that you do not plan on paying
Yeah, he
excess
seemed
of $1
like
million? And
Strategic
also,
did
who does
something
this
to
fall on? Is
them.
it the sheriff's office or is it the county commissioner?
So it's enough blame to go around. But ultimately, I believe people should get paid for what they have worked for. And so we will work diligently to make that happen. But ultimately, we have put ourselves in a position where we can create and maintain a safer environment by employing these individuals. And we want to create a safer employment opportunity for them, as well as those that we provide care and custody to.
Can you talk how many employees did you hire back?
Right now, our target is nearly 50.
So they need 50 people. Okay. You don't just hire 50 people
Specifically
overnight.
47 that came in tonight. And that is understanding that the third-party contractor went from a buildup of 30 to almost 80 plus individuals. So that's nearly half. We have scheduled them accordingly so that we can possibly create the safest environment that we have.
Why were they not paid for the past 3 months?
The company itself, again, so this is a budgetary issue that we have continually fought for. And so we were not in a position, again, we talk about the historic underfunding of the sheriff's office. And
So you guys did not have approved funding by the city managers, called a staffing company and brought people in without adequate approval. I'm wondering, did you guys sign a contract with this company? People can get fired for this. Like, unless there's some sort of emergency clause that you're able to do procurement, there's a whole procurement department that usually gets the contracts. How is it that you guys have staffing and it wasn't approved by the county commissioners? So they're out here soliciting businesses and didn't even have approval. They're saying that they weren't funded.
and that played a large part.
So if you're
when
not
you
able to
talk
pay them,
about-
no.
I understand that these employees, from talking to the CEO, that they were actually paid by this company, but the company was not receiving money from Fulton County. So essentially, these employees haven't been paid, but they're being paid by the company. The company is out over $1 million.
Well, the company has said they paid employees, but the meeting I just left, there were several employees, 10 or 15 employees that said last week before, these people didn't get a full paycheck.
Well, maybe their company is struggling and that's not right, but this is so messy. That's not right for them to do that, but if they've been getting paid on a regular basis, but now the company is in trouble because Fulton County is going to render them bankrupt because Fulton County has not been paying their bills, that means that they can't meet their payroll. So, but it's nice to point the finger when you're the one who's not cutting the ADP checks, right? The checks. Can we talk about the employees that have been arrested bringing in pot pies, weed, and cell phones? Did you guys talk about that?
And so I'm happy to onboard them as Fulton County employees, because one thing that Fulton County does well is take care of its employees.
So
Oh, really?
if you haven't been
Okay.
able to pay them for the past 3 months because of budgetary concerns, but now you're hiring people with a increase in pay, how is the sheriff's department going to pay for this?
Two different
Great
buckets of money.
question.
And so ultimately, we're using our vacancies, as I've said, to really bring them on to a livable wage. really, as I found out, it was heartbreaking to see that some of these folks weren't even making a livable wage. And so if you look at what the Board of Commissioners has done in a very positive manner, and that is creating employment.
Look, to me, I feel like he's like low key throwing the service provider under the bus, and you guys didn't even have the cash to be able to employ these people. Now, all of a sudden, you do at a 10% increase, but you still owe the people $1 million. Now, strategic solutions isn't right either. Not that it's their fault. However, their employees have been some of the employees terminated for bringing in cell phones, contraband, drugs, food, having inappropriate relationships with inmates. So it's like a whole mess over there at Rice Street.
Opportunities where people are making 40, in this case, $41,000.
Girl, it's giving
Why
Fulton
couldn't this have
Township
been
and
fixed before
Dalton.
this?
Okay.
Because, I mean, if you had this
Ooh, girl, my
money
street
over
art is
here that
like
you're able to hire people with now with the pay increase, why did it get to this point where a company hasn't been paid nearly $1 million?
So again, there are two different buckets of money, right? One is contractual money. The other, what we're using, are monies that were gleaned from the vacancies. And so we're able to, because as we continuously hire, and we have done a great job, the women and men of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, every day they come into an environment where they have the hardest job really in the state of Georgia, and ultimately should be paid accordingly. And so where we continuously recruit, we've recruited almost 750 people in the last 3 years, retention becomes an opportunity. And if you follow the Board of Commissioners, if you look at where we're not able to pay double time any longer, where overtime was cut, there are buckets of money that really lie in our vacancies. And so with the Board of Commissioners, or actually with our partners over the county manager's office, again, the chief people person for the county, a sustainable way now for us to move forward.
Does Fulton County plan on paying this third-party company the millions of dollars that they are?
As I said earlier, I believe in paying for people the work they've done. And so contractually, we will get there. We just weren't going to be able to get there as quickly as they liked.
Sure. The company had said they've been doing numerous calls, meetings with you guys, but you're telling us that you were in negotiations today when they made this call to have their employees walk off. But the company's saying that they've already.
Yeah, I can't comment on, again, the disingenuousness of what was happening. I know for a fact, me and my team were on the phone at 2:15 when they then actually called the Fulton County customer service line and told them that, one, they're telling people to leave at 5 o'clock today, and simultaneously, while on the phone with one of our chief people persons, told their people to leave. And in fact, people left. And so again, the last thing I want is for anybody to be unemployed. And so we have changed this into a positive. Ultimately, this has allowed us to bring more people on, allowed us to create a safer environment. And the people that are leaving today, if you stay long enough, you'll see an excited new Fulton County employee. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Can you talk about the safety situation that created?
And just a correction, the message that the company sent to their employees, they sent a text message at 2:10 telling them to leave at 2:15. And so they started leaving at that
And
point.
then those people that were scheduled to come tonight basically don't come.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna follow up with a written release.
For the CEO says the talks have been going on for like over a month. Is that the truth?
I'm not aware of the talk. I just know what happened today. And so
And does that directly involve the sheriff's office or just like county commissioners? Is there a difference?
I'm not sure. Yeah, but we'll follow up with a written release.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Portia said, okay. Okay, Portia. Okay. Okay, so that's what's going on at Fulton. That's what's going on over at Rice Street. So Rice Street, baby, shortage of guards. And it's the weekend. I don't know. Anybody who's been up to some shenanigans, if I were you, I would fade to black. I would go away and never go back. Okay. If you've been involved in shenanigans, because the layer of the outside company is gone. Okay. Another item for us to talk about real quick. We did extensive talk yesterday regarding Sarah Boone and her pro se. Guess what? She got a lawyer today. I don't know too much about it. I just pulled up the document and somebody has stepped up to the plate to want to be her lawyer, if you can believe it. I don't know if they're getting paid. Sarah Boone is another one of these people who has a array of supporters like Wade and homie, this guy right here, Mr. James Owens from Milton, Florida, has decided to step up and represent for ma'am. Mr. James Owens, he's in Milton, Florida. I did do a little, very little before I came live, and he's in Milton, Florida. Hold on. He's in Milton, Florida, and sir is a defense attorney, and he says text him 24/7, which sounds exactly like what ma'am needs, someone who can be available at all times. James Owen enters his appearance as counsel on behalf of defendant Sarah Boone, who says she didn't want to be pro se anymore. So James is a Florida barred licensed attorney since 1986. He was a prosecutor in Pensacola from 86 to 89. He was elected a public defender, First Judicial Circuit in Florida, 2009 to 2012. He's been in private practice for 20 years. He's handled over 100 jury trials to verdict, handles cases in Encambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and Okaloosa County, Florida, as well as, I guess, Orange County now, because he has entered himself in as an attorney for Sarah Boone. So what happened, let me read this to you. So he filed this document as if, so he's asking for a continuance. The trial is supposed to start October 7th, and homie is over here trying to get this delayed again. The poor family of George Torres has to deal with this nonsense again. Come now, the defendant, by and through the undersigned attorney and Rule 3.190 of the Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure, and request the court to grant a continuance of a 3-week jury trial set to begin October 7th. The defendant is set for trial October 7th. I don't know if the judge is going to allow it. The defendant is set for jury trial October 7th. The defendant has just retained defense counsel, and a notice of appearance was filed August 30th, which is what? Today. 38 days remain before trial. Defense counsel has met with the defendant 4 times in Orange County Jail, August 20th, 21st, 26th, and 27th. During these meetings, the defendant disclosed potential exculpatory evidence on her phone in the possession of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Evidence includes photographs, videotapes, calendars, text messages, notes, witness names, and numbers. The evidence will potentially corroborate her anticipated battered spouse syndrome defense, which now that's a confirmation, that's what she's going to try to go with. Under Rule 3.201 of Florida Rules Criminal Procedure, undersigned counsel has spoken with numerous potential expert witnesses covering a range of possible defenses. Counsel is also actively vetting several additional experts upon directives from interested parties. It is the professional opinion of counsel that the retention of one or more of these experts and development of the aforementioned defenses is a crucial and necessary component to the defendant receiving a full and competent representation. I just wonder how long it's going to be before she runs him off. Representation and due process under the law. I just wonder how much he can argue this too when he's now lawyer number 9. Sir, you're lawyer number 9. Okay. Based on the conversations that have occurred, counsel has learned that proper diagnosis and development of said defenses requires time not only for administering appropriate testing, but also the necessity that any expert testifying on the behalf of the defendant be given adequate time to establish a trusting relationship and then be allowed to apply the analytical tools to the information developed from interviews with the defendant. And it's like, sir, where did you come from? And supplemented with historical and documentary information from third parties. This process, as described to the undersigned counsel by renowned and respected experts, cannot be accomplished in the time available before trial, particularly given the JAC's ministerial hurdles, which must be cleared when dealing with the indigent defendant. Look, she's had 4 years. Notice of intent to rely on the battered spouse syndrome defense must be filed within 30 days of trial. The notice must be filed by September 7th, September 7, 8 days away. The defendant has deemed indigent for cost. The defendant will need government funds to assist in paying the experts in this field. Defense motions will need to be filed concerning the potential Brady material. The defendant has the right to be represented by counsel of her choice. The defendant attempted to solicit private counsel after the court's order dated June 28th. The defense counsel responded to her advertisement and was retained. So this guy responded to her letter. We'll pull that up again. We'll pull do you guys remember her letter? I'm in shock. Okay. I'm literally in shock. The defendant is not trying to delay the proceedings or abuse the process by retaining counsel at this late date. The defense certifies this motion to be made in good faith. And then they're citing the Sixth Amendment. For what reason? The Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees any person brought to criminal prosecution in a federal court must be afforded the right to assistance of counsel for his defense. Yeah, they can say that, but they can also say, but we don't have to give you any more time. The matter of continuance is traditionally within the second discretion of a trial judge and is not every denial of a request for more time that violates the due process, even if the party fails to offer evidence or is compelled to defend without counsel. Counterwise, a morphic inassistance upon expeditiousness in the justifiable request for a delay can render the right to defend with counsel an empty formality. So basically, they're saying, even with me entering without granting the continuance or the additional time, let's say it like that, this could just be a empty formality and really not helpful, even if now she has retained counsel. The right to assistance of counsel not only reaches the trial stage, but it extends to the sentencing as well. I will post this on my Patreon. So this is it. Let me pull the letter that she sent with her advertisement. Gosh, when was that? And then we also have another inmate management report, guys. So that's going to be interesting. Oh my God. I cannot believe this guy literally answered her ad. What did he say? That was June 28th. Can you believe that was already 2 months ago? June 28th. And she was so smug when she did it, but somebody actually answered. Correspondence filed from the defendant. Let's see if this is it. Is this it? No, this is not it. Unbelievable. I'm shocked. I really am. Is this? Oh my God. This is it, guys. If you haven't seen this, This is it. So she wrote this long letter to the judge. It was 7 pages. And then she writes this. I feel like we talked about this, but we'll talk about it again quickly. Inmate seeks attorney. Looking for a prosperous challenge? Ready for your close up on national television? Are you zealous with a side of keen? Show the world who you are with your original creativity, extraordinary expertise, and confident ingenuity. Qualifications must include, and let me get a close up, okay? Being trustworthy, honest, passion driven, open minded, exceptional problem solving skills, client inclusion at all times, team orientation, collaboration, extreme efficiency in listening, communicating, understanding, dedication to success, possessing a winning mindset, capability of excellence in representation, committed to maintaining faith in the client and case with ability to think differently, overcome all circumstances. Epic opportunity awaits Sarah Boone, inmate 2005623, Orange County Correctionals Department. Invest in the oppressed. Believe. So this guy responded to her ad. I'm in shock and amazement. Sarah Boone got a new lawyer, but Nesto, okay, but Nesto has Sean Hoover. Okay. Where the defendant must be represented by counsel. The defendant attempted to solicit private counsel after the court's order dated June 28th. The defense counsel responded to her advertisement and was retained. Wow. 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 Wow, wow, wow. This is shocking, right? Okay, next. Next. Sarah got us busy right now. Okay. Next. This is her inmate management report, her inmate behavior notes. Sis has been showing out as per usual. Okay, this is the document for the past week. Starting on August 19th, inmate Sarah is currently pro se and is allowed a laptop. I wonder if they documented. Okay, we might be able to see on here where homie showed up. He said he was there on the 20th, the 21st, the 20th, the 20th, the 21st. It should say something that she had an attorney visit. Maybe not. Girl, Sarah didn't take a shower on the 20th. Baby, don't do that. Okay. Inmate Boone is currently pro se and is allowed the laptop per scheduled hours. Inmate Boone, currently pro se, is allowed the laptop scheduled hours. The laptop had a low battery and needed to be charged. An entry was made hours ago by the officer regarding the low battery. Also, inmate Boone requesting OP 60 while collecting the something maybe a form from inmate Boone. I informed her that the laptop is now charged and she's ready for use in the morning. I also told her that I will make the day shift officer aware. I think this is a carryover from the last one, unless it's just the same thing again. 19th, refused breakfast. Is this the newest one? It's got to be. Yeah, because it's coming up to the 26th. Okay. Inmate refused breakfast. All inmates were given an opportunity for shower time. Evening shower was available and offered. Inmate Boone refused. Sis, get your ass in the shower. 19th, inmate used inmate tablet, laptop, hard drive. clear USB, medium size, clear black bag. Um, then on the 19th, she returned. So she returned it. Next, Corporal Pagan and I engaged in a discussion with inmate Boone in the FDC briefing room regarding several matters. We discussed the proper channels for submitting forms, emphasizing that they should be directed to the housing officer and shift supervisor rather than to the county legal counsel, Scott Chevenel. So remember Scott Chevenel from the Zoom meeting? So ma'am is over here skip leveling. You know how mad your manager or your director gets when you go over their head to like the VP? So she's over here skip leveling. She's supposed to send it to the housing officer or the shift supervisor, but she is turning forms in to legal counsel Scott Chavanel and Captain D. Giovanni, who runs the joint. Okay. Action taken. Inmate Boone, who has been incarcerated since 2020, is already well acquainted with the established procedures and confirmed her understanding of them. Inmate Boone expressed a desire to have a tablet available for her to use throughout the day. So they talked to you about not skip leveling, and you said you want a notebook. You need a tablet. Okay. We clarified the tablets are accessible to all inmates on a standard schedule, 7 days a week, ensuring reasonable access without a need for further action. Inmate also requested writing materials such as pens and paper be replenished as necessary. I think that that's pretty standard. Request denied at my level and escalated to appropriate authority who provided guidance and compliance with our policies. Inmate Boone was directed to request her items via inmate request form to the law library department. No further action needed. Girl, she has too many notes being taken, right? Inmate Boone demonstrated a willingness to engage further in dialogue. However, she constantly paraphrased my statements while introducing details that were neither mentioned nor implied. Consequently, I included the conversation and dismissed inmate Boone back to her unit due to her patronizing tone and her persistent misrepresentation of my remarks, and then informed and information I aimed to communicate. Ultimately, inmate Boone expressed her disagreement with my stance and decision making, indicating her intention to file a motion with the judge assigned to her case. This bitch is bonkers. Okay. She needs to stop. Does she understand that because she's pro se and she has this laptop, that we are getting to see all of the notes of her awful behavior, and the world is now privy to this? So maybe now, because she's got the lawyer, if her privileges are discontinued, then maybe, I don't know, but I think the judge probably doesn't mind because the world will know like what Sarah's up to. Okay, so more on the 20th, she's getting her laptop. On the 20th again, sis has refused to take another shower. Girl, do you imagine every time you don't take a shower, the world finds out about it? So the 19th, ma'am didn't take a shower. On the 20th, sis didn't take a shower. And she's down there in Florida, baby. Okay. So inmate Boone laptop collected and inspected. Okay. The 21st. Okay. She's got her laptop. She's got her laptop in discovery. She's got her razor was issued, collected, inspected. She got to go chip. Maybe she took a shower on the 22nd. 22nd, laptop fully charged. Inmate Boone returned the laptop. 23rd, laptop. I guess she decided to chill out on these days. Laptop. And the 24th, received the laptop. Okay. So a few days in a row, sis was not problematic. She took her shower. She ate her food. And maybe that was when she got the lawyer. Okay. The AI is on point. Okay. Okay. All right. So what else did we have? Okay. You guys wanted me to talk about that new case. Oh, it's awful. Out of Canton, um, the young lady who is there's a police officer now out of Canton, Massachusetts. Another Canton situation, Karen Reed cases out of Canton. There is a police officer that has been in relationship, um, and I'm saying in it's more than acquaintance. And this young lady was involved in one of these police kind of mentoring programs since she was a little kid. She was like 10 years old. I'm just telling the story just like high level because I saw it, I read about it, someone just sent it to me again. Um it sounded like a combination of a couple of things, but this little girl was in one of these cadet programs and one of these like I want to be a cop when I grow up type things, right? And apparently it's been alleged that this guy had been grooming her since she was 10 years old and she's now 23. I don't know if they were what the relationship involved, but she since became an adult, 23 years old. She's pregnant with her first baby. Apparently maybe that was his baby, I'm assuming. Um and he's now been charged with homicide. Um, she's passed away. Um, there was a situation that happened. I think it was staged to make it look like she had harmed herself, and come to find out that that was not the case. Yeah, just awful. So I don't have all of the details, but high level, that's pretty much it. But I'll come back to you guys. We'll do like a separate situation. But I did get the message. So to whoever this is who sent it to me this evening, yes, I'd seen it already. Like this was major news yesterday. Obviously, it's major news. Period. To yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Um, I think to provide the awareness is good because it's really sad that even in a I want to be a police officer type cadet program, you got to these kids have to be supervised and monitored at all times. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little too helicopter because like I'm always kind of, not too far away in the parking lot, in the mist, sitting in the bleachers. You know what I mean? Like I'm just around, right? But that's what you have to do because it's unfortunate. And I'm not saying anything about these girls' parents, but you have to be visible so that people know, like, they can't play in your face with your kid. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be very much, even in the mist, I think people still slip through the cracks, unfortunately, but at least you've done the best you can do, right? And you did as much as you possibly could, but sometimes things slip through the cracks, unfortunately, right? I would imagine if you drop your kid off at the cadet program, you would imagine that they were safe, but apparently not. Very sad. I mean, because it happens in the schools, it happens everywhere. Um, yeah, I know there's not too much helicopter. I want there always to be the open lines of communication. I also like there to be the visible. I want people to know my face. Like I don't show up at the school for people to ask me like, "And who are you?" That's so and so. That's her mom right there. Yeah, like they know me because I'm there enough to be visible and for people in the office to know me and volunteer and do things like that because yeah, you got to. Anyway, lot going on. If you guys missed the live earlier, go check it out. So much fun talking to you guys in the members only live, and then we did another live right after and replayed everything. So I think if you're in I did put it in Patreon and I wanted to experiment with the drop function. So if you're in Patreon, it's dropping. So if you guys want to, anyone who's in Patreon wants to live chat over there, that's going to be getting started soon if it's not started already. But anyway, I guess that's it for right now. What's going on in Fulton County? I think I got you guys all caught up on what's happening with Sarah Boone. That's pretty much it for right now. I will see you guys. I don't know. It's Friday night. Maybe I'll come back. I know I talked to you guys about the Danny Lay body cam and a couple of other things. So I might meet you guys over on OSIP, but I'm going to take a break for a while. I've been live pretty much all day. So I thank you guys for coming through. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Look at your phone, make sure it says subscribed and not subscribe. Also, go ahead and make sure that you set your notifications and hit the thumbs up. Okay. Let me see if there's anything you guys are saying. Okay, guys. I love you guys. You guys take care. Have a good evening. And if I don't see you guys again until later, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.